Quantize music.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Check Yourself. My name is Victoria, and basically this series is set up to enable you to want better for yourselves, empower you to do better for yourselves so that you can be better. So yeah, let's get into this episode. Before I even get into it, I want to give a massive shout out to two people. The first one, Pastor Michael Todd from Transformation even. When you listen to too many podcasts and watch too many videos, you just become confused. Specifically, this message is based on their Stride series that they did at the beginning of 2018. I started listening to it podcast middle of 2018, so I was late, but it's all good. That's why videos are on YouTube. That's why audio, is available via podcast. So yeah, if you haven't done so already, check that out. But aside from Transformation Church, Pastor Michael Todd and co, I want to give a shout out to my Nigerian community, specifically the queen that is Funke Akindele for one of the best memes of 2018. Reason being, the title of this video is Why Are You Running?
Why are you running? Why are you running?
In line with New Year, same me, different outcome, I just want to tap into some of the reasons why I think we as people, myself included, basically run before we can walk. I feel like we spend a lot of time as individuals watching what other people have, seeing how far they've come, and sometimes we feel like people have made it overnight, just like that. And the reality is, one, that's not everybody's story. Two, focus on your road, stay in your lane. And three, most times it's not even the case. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so on a serious note, when I stepped into 2018, I took with me one of the best Nigerian phrases ever. And that was, I can't come and die. I literally cannot come and die. And I know that doesn't make grammatical sense when it's in English, but when it comes and it's translated from Yoruba, perfect sense. Absolute perfect sense. I can't come and die. I can't kill myself. I was tired at the beginning of 2018. Tired from running, rushing, trying to complete things, trying to be everywhere at once. And I know for a lot of people this sounds familiar. And for some people, it doesn't sound familiar because you haven't yet thought about the actions that you've been taking. So you might be tired, but you just don't know why. I literally had to sort of stop, pause and be like, what are you doing? And then everything became, I can't come and die. I can't stress myself. I can't kill myself. Yeah. So when I sat down and I thought about it properly, I realized that I was doing like 5 million different things. I mean, on top of trying to finish school, do work like 12 hours, finish my evening course, cook because, every day you want to eat. Generally just trying to stay cute. Health issues. There was just so many different conflicting things, like business, everything just felt like it was fighting against each other. And then I kind of paused and I was like, you know what? Stop. Just pause. Wait there. Wait. You need to focus. Channel energy in the right place and focus on what's important. And last year, I faced so many health issues. Like, it was unreal. unreal. And I just got to a place where I had to really reevaluate and assess what was important. And I think as people, we spend so much time focusing on things that don't just involve our person and aren't just about our commitment and our involvement, that we forget about the one thing that we can change and that we can influence, and that's ourselves. And more specifically, our health and our well-being. Mental, physical, emotional, the whole package. We don't focus on it enough. So I had to pause and reflect on life. Yeah. I started to focus on how I could do few things but well and be consistent with those few things. I needed to prioritize what was important to me and what needed to be done first in order of priority. And my health was number one. Getting paid is number two. Above all of that, I should have said, is my spiritual life. We're working on it. I'm too real. But yeah, this is the whole purpose of doing this. We're supposed to check ourselves, and I think for me, self-reflection is really, really important. So we'll come back to that. So when I started thinking about this properly and reflecting on myself, I realized that I was rushing because of my own emotional, hey, I don't want to say that, emotional instability, but that sounds really, really like heavy. When I say that, that could be anger, that could be fear, that could be frustration, that could be, there's so many different displays of emotion. So don't look at that statement as it being really, really heavy. But one reason, I'm gonna give you three, but one reason that we tend to rush, run, and we tire ourselves out because we're not actually focusing and channeling energy on what matters is because of FOMO. We have fear of missing out. We have fear of being left behind. We just don't want to carry last. Again, another Nigerian saying. But we just don't want to be left behind. So I started to, obviously listening to the whole Stride series, started to look at myself and think, okay, what can I do? How can I walk confidently? How can I step and know that the decisions and the actions that I'm taking are aligned to what I know I should be focused on? And if I start to get a bit wavery, shaky with these thought processes, then it's probably not the right time or not the right step for me to take. Do you get what I mean? So yeah, we need to be walking into our actions or doing these actions with confidence, and taking time to sort of look at how we're going to get to the destination as opposed to just trying to run there. All right. Second reason why I think a lot of people are rushing is because they're looking around too much. Social media, I don't even want to demonize social media, but we need to realize that social media is a tool, and we need to make sure that we are using the tool to action things that are positive. I think we spend a lot of time focusing on the negative things that social media can bring, but we don't focus on the positives. We don't focus on how it's actually changing, impacting lives, bringing communities together, and supporting people. That's my side on social media. But we look around too much. We look at social media, we look at people, we look at friends that we say we have. We just look outside. We spend so much time looking outside, we don't look internally and see what it is that we want to achieve and what the steps are and the plan of action needs to be in order for us to get from in here, idea and desire, to out here, reality. You can't find your action plan in someone else's Instagram. You can't find your action plan in someone else's life. You can't find your action plan by speaking to people and comparing yourself to them. Speak to people by all means, but just solely focusing on what they've done and how they've got there, not just the fact that they're there. And I think another reason why a lot of people struggle with looking at their peers and also just social media is because you don't stay in your lane. Like, you don't know your race. There's people driving Honda Civics and they are looking at, this is going to be a test of my car knowledge, Jeep. But you get what I'm saying. They're looking at two different cars and they're trying to put them in the same race, or they're trying to compare the specifications. You can't compare, I was going to say Android and Apple, but you can't compare two completely different devices that have different functionalities in the same running. You can't do that. And people, because they don't know who they are, because they don't know what they want, you end up going and bouncing round and round and round because you're chasing what other people have. Stop. Be still. Think about what it is that you need. Think about what is relevant to you. Think about what your vision is. And then channel that into a plan. Think about how you can actually create steps to achieve what is relevant for you. Only when you do that will you be running your own race. There are so many people that they're moving, but they're moving nowhere. They're moving nowhere fast. Literally running on the same spot, round and round in circles, no action plan, no progression. It's all long. It's all futile. Point 3 is going to be the realist, I think. And this is the moment where you have to check yourself, because point 1, point 2, they're kind of linked to external things. But point 3, that's all about you. And point 3 is the fact that sometimes you have to be real with yourself. You have to check yourself and say, you know what, Vicky, maybe your motivations are misplaced. I know that because I've seen people succeed quickly, I don't know what that means, but they've succeeded quickly, I've then felt inadequate. And that's an external thing. My motivations drive my actions as well. And I can't blame my motivations and my inner desires on someone else. So for you, if money's the be all and end all, then that might be an issue. It might be great, you might need money, but you really need to look at what the motivations are that are driving your actions. Are you trying to do fit fam because you want to get man, or because you want to get specific sorts of girls? Question. Because after you've got them, then what? I mean, is your motivation behind trying to get a specific car because you want to attract a certain caliber of people? Question. Tell me what you think about this. Or is it me? Anyway, yeah, my point being, motivations are really, really important to assess in terms of understanding how that plays into your actions and how that impacts what you decide to do. That causes you to run. So the 3 things are fear of missing out, fear of being left behind. That's number 1. Number 2 is specifically related to peer pressure, social media, the comparison between yourself and others. And then number 3 looks at your personal motivations. And I think as people, as individuals, we need to do better. We need to check ourselves, and we need to start to assess the reasons why we're doing things and why we're tiring ourselves out. When I started to look at that within myself, what I found within like a month or even less was that I was less tired. My energy was spent on something else. My energy it suddenly became useful because I wasn't stressing myself out with trying to keep up with, I was going to say the Joneses, but the Adebolas. No, I'm joking. I wasn't trying to keep up with people that just weren't in my race. I know what it is that my immediate focus is. And I know for a lot of people, they really think far-fetched and they're like, oh, I don't know what my purpose is in life. But if you can break down your goal to this month and justify why, to you, then you're in the right place. So yeah, in summary, take time, stop running, focus on what it is that you want to achieve. Don't be afraid to be left behind, because a lot of the time you'll find that you're not actually left behind. You're not missing out. Don't be afraid to unplug from social media and really start to assess what your inner motivations are. Peace and love, guys.